Lagard, thank you very much for this interview to our news magazine, for the Greek public television.
Sure.
First, I want you to tell us if you see light at the end of the Greek tunnel. Recently, Prime Minister Samaras was in China and invited the Chinese businessmen to invest in Greece and to take part in the Greek success story, as he called it. I want you to tell us your sense. Do you think Greece is far or close to become a success story?
I certainly hope that it's on its way to being a success story. And I would observe that there has been significant improvement with a program that is now, at the moment, pretty much on track. The program has seen massive, unprecedented fiscal consolidation, which is hard. The program has seen a major labor reform, which has brought some flexibility and improvement of competitiveness. The program has seen a strengthening of the financial institutions, which is always important to feed credit to the economy. So there are some really positive developments, but obviously more needs to be done in terms of revenue collection, in terms of independence of the tax administration going forward, in terms of product and service market reforms, so that there is more space and less rigidity in those areas where investors want to invest, including foreign direct investors.
Ms. Lagarde, the public debt remains high, and according to your projections, it will remain high for the next years. You have said many times that Greece will need additional help by its European partners in order to meet the target. Are we talking about a new haircut? Can you be more specific?
No, I'm not talking about haircuts. I think what is important is to keep in mind the targets. And the targets are 2020, 124% debt to GDP ratio, and 2022, under 110% debt to GDP ratio. What the European partners have said as well is that to the extent that Greece delivers under the program, which is the case now, and as soon as it reaches a primary balance, that is, a balanced budget, notwithstanding the service of the debt, the Europeans will continue to help and do whatever it takes. So those are major commitments, unspecified in terms of what form it will take, but very broad and very strong in terms of principles.
Mr. Dijsselbloem today in Athens mentioned that in the spring of next year might be a talk about it.
It's, for the Europeans to decide what form it takes. What we at the IMF look at is what is the general principle, how strong is the commitment, and what are the conditions. I've just mentioned them.
On the talks with Troika, the Greek government is looking for some tax breaks on issues that might create a new dynamic and help the real economy. Do you think a possible decrease on VAT, value-added tax, will boost the economy and lower the prices?
I think the key priority, and where as much energy and resources should be focused, is on really delivering on the program. Opening up the product and service markets, I think, would go a long way in attracting investors and making sure that the Greek economy can pick up and move along a growth path that is so much needed for job creation. VAT reductions here or there, this is really, in a way, not a trivial issue, but it's one that should certainly not undermine the overall revenue collection and commitments that have been made, because now is not the time to, relax the effort that has been done by the Greek population. We have a mission which will be on the ground shortly. They will look at everything, of course, but the key thing is to make sure that the service and product markets are properly reformed so that those markets take the benefit of the wage cuts that have been volunteered and which were hard gains that have to develop into real gains for the economy.
Mrs. Lagarde, we've heard many times that Cyprus is not a template for the future and that deposits in the rest of the Eurozones are safe. Nonetheless, there is a big discussion about whether large depositors should participate in future bank rescues. What do you think?
I think it's an issue that is debated within Europe amongst partners, and they need to give certainty. This is the priority. It's not for me to debate exactly how they will tailor those issues, but what is needed is certainty, predictability, and coordination on a global basis. That's what investors are very keen to know. What is the ranking order, and how consistent is it across borders?
It seems that Greece is doing good with the numbers, is improving its finances, even though most of the Greek people, the average Greek people, suffer, and the unemployment is the highest in Europe. Are you concerned with the negative effects the program has in the Greek society?
The Greek society is a huge concern, and unemployment of people in general, but young people in particular, is of course a huge concern. So everything that can be done to improve growth, to turn the corner, and to hopefully see some positive growth, which we hope will be next year, will be critical to boost morale and to engage in this process, which is needed. The second thing I would say is that the burden has to be shared fairly. It should not always fall on the same people. It's not just wages in the private sector or pensions in the private sector. Everybody has to contribute, and that is beginning to happen, but it needs to be pursued.
I would like to ask you about public administration reform and the dismissals in the public sector. Many analysts in Greece say that actually what you're trying to do is fire all those who are getting paid with high wages and hire instead young people with minimum wages.
It's certainly not what we are planning or designing as a program. However, it is fair to offer jobs to people who are qualified, who are keen to work, and have been unemployed, in consideration for those who either don't turn up for work, do not perform, and should not necessarily be given a job for a lifetime. I think that's a principle which everybody would stand by.
And who is going to evaluate who is good and who is best and who is worst?
I think what has happened is a law was voted back in April, the omnibus legal instrument. It's now, for the Greek authorities to implement as is required by law.
In the coming months, it is a critical period for the implementation of the Greek program, and I'm wondering if are you concerned that the challenges the government has to take on different issues might put at risk the political stability and the effort overall in implementing the measures?
What we have seen lately, and which is a breakthrough, is much stronger political endorsement and buy-in to support the reforms. It wasn't the case 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It has improved significantly, and it's usually based on the experience we have of such programs, a key component of success.
Tax evasion is one of the areas that Greece, as you said, must make progress. Why do you think that Greece doesn't have effective results, especially among rich tax evaders?
I would certainly support any move, any improvement to actually collect revenues, particularly from those who are evading tax. And to that end, the independence of the tax authorities and the tax agencies in charge of collecting revenue is absolutely critical.
Mrs. Lagarde, thank you very much for this interview to the Greek public television.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.